provided Rosalind is willing to go, especially given the light of the recent revelation, she should be able to leverage her own lineage in its own way for what she would be able to reveal to require temporary housing there where we can lay low. We could inform others of the situation, likely through either Hiei or other means. But if we were to stay at the port temporarily until you go down the line, after all of this is taken care of, after they clear your name and, well, likely after you and Orion are wed. She says with a bit of a smirk and kind of bumps you a bit as you're walking. I spoke with briefly, you see.
When you say it out loud, it's a lot more embarrassing.
You should not be embarrassed, Cecil. Never be embarrassed for the one you love.
I'm not. It's just... I suppose it's moving quickly, but we've been over my sense of time.
Of course. I've always wanted to see Zuanshi, but I suppose a visit will have to do.
And Cecil nods, and in theory, in theory, the Forbidden City proper wouldn't be a terrible place for you or for Neely. And I've sent correspondence to the Emperor in advance, letting him know of your coming, but that hinged on the idea that you wouldn't wish to leave. And she like puts an arm on Lyra's arm, or a hand on Lyra's arm. But that's... I'm sorry if I made such presumptions just to try and send you Neely away and out of danger. Everything is still rather fresh. And so I'm sorry that I would hope in a place like that it may be somewhere where you would want for nothing. There's been enough, I would think. But I hope that no matter where you go after all this is over, that 40-odd years that's not a whole human lifespan. You've got a lot more to do. I don't really know where I'm going with this. I suppose I have trouble rationalizing certain things, but I just wanted you to be safe.
Ultimately, I feel as if my sister would not let me be unsafe. Not now that she knows that I have been robbed of my eyesight. Ultimately, I wish to do what you believe would be for the best for young Neely. It is her safety with which I am far more concerned than my own. I would much like to visit Legola once again. And Okeanos is quaint in its own way, even though such places would not be safe for her now.
And she can almost see Cecil shaking her head, and I think I I I I, I believe that going to Zhuanxi would be the best option in the meanwhile. And if there's something if Neely needs to be removed from the situation, she could retreat further in, and you and Rosalind should be still all right. But that sounds like a good plan. She shakes her head, sounding a little bit shaky.
Not to mention, perhaps it's the paranoia speaking, but I know nothing of Fanwon-gu, of the Dawn and the Dusk Emperors. Perhaps revealing ourselves to them immediately. I suppose I just feel vulnerable. But if we accompany you, or even if just Neely accompanied you, if we waited for you, we could decide what to do on a more permanent standard after that. We could live safely and comfortable in Zhuanxi. I know of tradesmen who have made the place home, temporarily or otherwise, and Rosalind is inhumanly resourceful. I have no doubt that between what I can provide and what she can certainly provide, we would be safe. And we could decide what to do on a more permanent basis after that.
And I was thinking upon similar lines. And thank you for taking her to safety. I'll have to say thank you too. To Rosalind too. And maybe I'm beginning to think it's just a learned behavior to think in such long scales and to be so taken off course by not having a century to ruminate on things or otherwise. But if all goes well, it actually won't be that long until I'll be there if everything in Legala goes well. I think I might just be stalling, actually. I'm not quite sure I want to say goodbye.
You have a war to win. And a people to save. Several, more than our people. You've become incredible, Cecil. I'm so proud. I owe you my life, and I'm certainly not the only one. Even if I can't watch you in person, I cannot wait to hear of everything that you accomplish. And if we're being quite honest, I have no doubt that not only will my tenure as queen be as a footnote in comparison to Titanic women on either side of me historically, but there's no one else I could think of who would be better for our home. Well, one of my homes, I suppose.
Cecil's quiet for a good moment. No matter where you go, I'd very much like to keep in touch and, even though it may be delayed, keep some amount of counsel. If I am, if if I am to be, well, if I am really to ascend to ascend at least a half of the throne of Zodia, I'm not sure how I should feel about another Manakete sitting in the exact spot where Tyrant was born. 1,000 some years ago. But, I guess it's my job to make sure that doesn't happen again. That said, I digress. It, and also, I still stand by the fact that it was a life for a life. I would have withered away within a century. Or less. Had Laird and Alstro not ratted me out. She says with a small smile in her voice.
Well, in any sense, I do hope you are not opposed to reading slightly slanted writing. I've I have been practicing, albeit slowly.
I don't find my writing in common to be very aesthetically appealing anyway, so it'll do you a favor in that regard. But well, my hands won't. I never seem to stop shaking. But well, for what it's worth, perhaps I'll keep up the trend. It might be presumptuous of me to think ahead, but I was thinking Queen Cecilia sounds rather nice.
She smiles, and she's gonna like stop, and she's gonna like pull you in for a hug.
Yeah, Cecil wraps her wings around, and
I think it's beautiful.
I'm just mad that I didn't know about the name before.
No matter what happens, I'm going to miss you, Cecil.
Still in the hug, Cecil nods against Liliana.
But you'll never be far from my thoughts. My brute of a father robbed me of any chance of starting a real family of my own. Before I was even a young one. So while I could never have a daughter of my own, I'm I've always seen you as a bit of a substitute. This last year, I know that's likely presumptuous, but I suppose a bit melancholy that, though I was right about you and Orion, I suppose I'm rather disappointed I cannot reap the benefits of truly being able to call you my daughter. She kind of smiles and as she pulls away from the hug, like on a little bit of a joke.
Well, I've heard the human phrase a few times. Pot calling kettle. The pot calling the. Is it the cauldron or the kettle black? Oh,
Kettle typically, though technically both would work.
Hmm. I'm just. Well. As I'm sure you've most like as well as I'm sure that you could assume, my mother passed as we were both or my mother was killed before as we were attempting to flee Clarion on High many years ago. And so I didn't really, 2 years ago on your calendar, I hadn't thought to call someone family again, but in what time we do have, I won't be so foolish as to lose another. And, well, I always thought it'd be rather nice to, maybe imprint on you like you're my mom.
She chuckles and she gives your hand a squeeze. Well, it need not be legally. It will be our little secret. Just don't tell the other Zodians, they might get cross.
I'm pretty sure that Orion will call you mother for the rest of his days, so,
He's a good lad.
I know.
Watch over him, will you?
That's the plan. And in turn, watch over Neely. She's to be grounded whenever we get off the ship, if you didn't hear.
I heard.
And could I give you another hug?
Thought you would never ask, and she will in fact give you another hug.
And I think that's about where that needs to go.
And so, probably like later the next day, the plan gets around to everybody, and yeah, if you guys, anybody who's at Zodia or at Okeano still, which is literally everybody except for those already in Lagala or Alstra and Jacob as they went off early. Anybody else who wants to say goodbye can fucking do that, which I guess is actually pretty much just Davian and Hoden, though Hoden didn't speak to them much.
I was getting on, so.
Oh, cool. Good timing. Like, actually, really good timing.
I mean, like, she's on her way. I just don't know when she's coming.
Oh, that's fine. Do you know what time she gets out of work?
She's driving. I know she just got out of work.
Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, like, was there anything else that anybody had to do in Okeanos, by the way?
Um,
Hey, look, she's there.
Here she is.
What? Am I needed? Am I
But
necessary?
she's about
Funny
to
story.
leave.
You got here literally at the perfect time.
Oh, I guess I just have that uncanny ability. What
You
you
do.
need?
Because basically we're this is the part where Lyra, Rosalind, and Neely are leaving for Fenrangu. Not permanently, maybe. They're going basically the plan, which everybody would have been told the plan. They're going to the port of Zuanxi, and they're going to live there until Cecil goes down to meet with the emperors, and then they're going to figure out what happens from whether either they're going to go back to Legala after things are safe and have settled down. They're going to go to Okeanos, or they're going to stay in Fenrangu and possibly head inwards. It very much depends on what happens.
All right, let me put a pup in the bed, and then I can certainly help with that. Ween!
Yeah, so basically, people are just it's gonna be people saying goodbye to Lyra, Rosalind, and Neely.
So saying goodbye to a mother figure, another mother figure that kind of isn't really a mother figure that I only kind of know
You
stories
only met
about,
her for a
and
minute,
my
yeah.
friend.
Yes.
All right, cool.
I'm imprinting.
On everything.
And
Stickers are great.
so Varro, between Varro and Hiei, Varro was able to pull some strings and Hiei some connections, and a small trusted port vessel or trading vessel from Fenrangu is leaving right around this time, and they have plenty of room for passengers, and they frequently will take passengers to and fro as they need. And they've agreed to take the three of them to the port of Zuanxi. And so as they're getting their stuff ready, they're moderately sized, spacious vessel. You guys meet with them to say your goodbyes for what could be a little bit. It could be a few years before some of you see her, before some of you see them again, depending on where everybody goes after the war. It might be a year, it might be 2, maybe 5, maybe longer. And it could be never. And Delphine,
Hmm.
I'm going to start with you because you're at the top of the list.
Motherfuck! I'm eating food.
All right, fine. All right, we'll start with Rick, with Davian.
All right.
Davian, Rosalind will go up. She'll give you a hug.
Well, my plans haven't changed before in terms of just keeping an eye on your daughters. Daughters.
Takes some getting used to, doesn't it? The plural, that is.
Yeah, it does.
I'm counting, Davian.
I'll do what I can.
You have quite your work cut out for you.
You
Watching
have
out for
no
both
idea.
watching out for both of my daughters, watching out for your own parents, and of course, watching out for the daughters. I'm sure John is getting into all sorts of trouble back home.
Knowing John, he's got quite a story waiting for us.
I'm going to miss you, Dave. You've grown into an impressive young lad, and she starts to tear up a little bit.
Hey. Look, this isn't a goodbye.
I know.
And he wipes a tear from her.
But I suppose I have a feeling that the next time we meet, well, provided things go well, I suppose I might be I might be able to actually call you my son.
He blushes. Well, guess so, doesn't it?
That, or we're going to have some words, you and I.
Well, fair. Though I really doubt I could leave her side.
I'm glad.
He gives her a kiss on the cheek.
She smiles.
When you get back, you're gonna see a different Legala. One that we can all live in peace.
I'm sure that Gavin would like to. Be safe, Davy.
I try. But given my profession, it's kind of hard. And he grins at that, and he just motions a wave.
She'll smile. She'll step away. And Liliana will approach you next, and she'll hug you.
Oh. In the short time we've met, it was pretty obvious how much he cared, and how blatantly obvious to see that you're family.
You know, David, you've always had an uncanny ability to make me smile, even when you were hardly able to walk.
I guess, I have nothing for that, honestly. But I hope to see you again. And always know that you'll always have a home with the Mercers.
And no matter what, you'll always have your old babysitter thinking of you. Take care of everyone, please.
I'll do what I can. And do tell me the stories of Fang Rangu. I've been grown quite fascinated by it.
I would be lying if I said I was not a bit excited beyond all of the apprehension.
Ooh, make a list of food.
That is certainly one thing I'm looking forward to. Fenron cuisine seems to be something of a mystery to me. I hope I can tell you about it someday.
We will. And he also gives her a kiss on the cheek.
And she smiles. And she'll step back as well. Neely would, of course, bid you farewell as well. The two of you didn't. Yeah, no. Like she'll give you a hug.
All right. You take care of them. All right.
Mhm. I will. I promise.
Good. Just know that a promise is a very big thing to say.
I know. That's why I said it. Promise I will. Really.
I know you will. I'm just being a little jerk is all.
Besides, I'm probably grounded until after they're both dead, so...
Oh, you have no idea.
So, even if I wasn't going to make a promise, I'd pretty much have to anyways. But I am going to make a promise. Don't worry.
I know you will. Though, given your responsibility, it doesn't always hurt to have a little bit of fun. So enjoy yourself.
I will.
And Damon's gonna back away, holding back his tears.
And who wants to go next? Cecil or Ari? Or Delphine?
I think she's still eating.
If it's okay, can I finish my dinner first, please? I haven't
That's
had to eat in a while.
All right. Also, by the way, guys, I need to tell you real quick. In
Oh
between
my
this,
god.
Eric brought me an orange that's bigger than my fist, and I can't get over it. And I've been trying not to laugh about it the entire time because it's just sitting here.
That's
Jesus
Riley.
Christ, Steph.
It's really neat.
It's huge.
It is really big.
Take a picture.
I will.
Love it
Put
forever.
it in the ship post.
That's a good idea.
And Rosalind actually walks up to you first, Cecil.
Cecil's almost confused.
It was nice to meet you for as brief as it was, Cecil.
You as well.
And I suppose I should thank you for taking such good care of my wayward sister.
A little dumbfounded, Cecil just shakes her head. I would certainly say it's the other way around.
That is what family does. They take care of each other. Neely will be safe. Yes. She's a good lass. She
Cecil-
reminds me of myself when I was her, actually.
And I suppose if I could ask one favor, it might be something along the lines of well, as silly as it may sound, continuing to work on the fact that most humans don't like to talk about death that much would be a. And she nods.
She's a curious one, that is. But don't worry, she'll be learning much in the port of Zhuangxi. They call it the port of possibility, you know. I'm sure she'll learn a great deal there. You'll see her again soon. We'll hold down the fort while you're taking care of things. And she actually she bows. Take care, Cecil.
Cecil offers a curtsy and a nervous smile. And travel safely, and thank you.
And she'll step away. And Liliana will come up next, and she'll, of course, we're starting off with a hug.
Of course.
Saying goodbye is never the easy part, is it?
Cecil shakes her head, and it always feels really fast.
I'm going to miss you so much. I'll be counting down the days till you come. It would be good to spend time with you again.
Cecil nods in complete agreement, and that sounds. I'd like that.
And you must tell me every detail. I imagine when it happens, she says quietly, the royal ceremony will be spectacular.
Oh,
I wish I could be there. Truly. But I will be in spirit. Perhaps we can relive it again when you come once again.
we'll just have to make it a full family visit then.
That would be nice.
I'm rubbish at holding in tears, by the way.
You too.
You're gonna make it worse.
And she'll
cue the waterworks, I'm pretty sure.
she'll give you a kiss on the cheek. Be safe, Cecil. Please. The world is brighter with you in it.
Well, that's not for me to decide. I couldn't even think about leaving it a brighter place without you. So thank you.
She'll squeeze your hand. And she'll step away.
Oh no, one more hug. And then she can step
one more
away.
hug, then she squeezes your hand and then she steps away. And as soon as she does, Neely thwumps into you with a big hug. I'm gonna miss you, Cecil. But I know that I'll see you again soon. And I promise I'll be on my best behavior for Miss Roslyn and Liliana while you're gone.
Cecil smiles down at her and nods. Firm, like, almost in a joking kind of firmness, where now don't go make sure we don't spirit off any more human children while I'm gone, all right?
And she nods, like looking at the ground, kind of bashfully.
But for what it's worth, Neely, I know that Ben is glad to be with his family. Despite the upset. And despite the upset for good reason. But I'm going to miss you too. More than I can say.
Do you promise I'll see you again?
Cringing at that one, Cecil nods. And no matter what happens, I know we'll see each other again.
That's what Big Brother said too.
She pales a little bit with thinking about that.
And but we're gonna find him. And then we can all be a family together.
She smiles sadly, and he's out there somewhere, which I think he is. You know how smart he is. We will.
Mm-hmm. And 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 if he's that smart, then he definitely wouldn't. He definitely wouldn't go back on a promise.
And Cecil nods. Sort of, clears some hair out of
Yeah, and she.
Neely's face.
I bet you think he's really handsome now. She says with like a sad smile.
And she, looking a little wistful, she nods, and though there's not much competition these days, I'm sure he's the most handsome drake in the land.
She kind of like she kind of giggles at that one, and she says, "And you're the prettiest dragoness around too, or you will be. In that case, I think you guys would be really happy together. But first, we have to find him. This is a really big world."
And though sort of pulling Neely aside, she um 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 Neely, first, I think I've come to a decision myself. She sort of she leans down and um I there is something that I do need to tell you. Cause I'd rather um I if everything works out with the Togwell and Lagoose, there were many times in our history where there were she searches for the word, or for the phrase, where you can come to care about someone in your time. And she kind of looks up and over. And if everything goes well, I'd like to, for however short it may be, I'd well, I believe that I might like to be a dragoness a little bit sooner.
She like She like cocks her head at you like, huh?
And she blushes a little bit and sort of rubs the back of her neck.
And Neely kind of like puzzles that for a second. What do you mean?
Cecil sighs and this has to be quiet. But you're my family, so I want you to know that if everything goes well, Orion and I are to be wed.
Her eyes kind of cross for a second as she like processes that. And then she kind of like thinks for a second and she says, actually that kind of makes sense.
It's Cecil's turn to like turn her head.
And she like unabashedly turns around and looks at Orion, who by the way has definitely heard parts of this conversation and is trying not to like listen in, but like as she looks to him, like it's pretty plain.
There's no stopping it.
And then she looks back to you and he says, well, he does kind of look like an Onyx Drake. I think he also coughs.
And Cecil looks at Orion too. And like sort of between the two of them. And trying to, we're gonna pull ourselves up by the bootstraps here. And well, in that note aside, if Lorem is out there, Neely, she smiles at Orion, looking rather serious, like soft and sort of serious. This is something that I would really like to honor, first and foremost.
And Neely spins around and she puts her hands on her hips. She looks up at Orion. And her wings kind of flare out a little bit. And she points up at him and says, then you better treat her right, okay? And nods. And Orion, like, still kind of like flabbergasted by everything that's just happened. I certainly will, Neely. You need not worry about that. And she smiles and says, well, then I guess that makes you a big brother too. And she gives him a hug. And he like kind of like taken aback by the hug, does return it. And he looks at you, Cecil, with a smile as he pets her.
Cecil smiles a little bit tired at this conversation in the very few moments that you can see that Cecil is older than 17. It's kind of in those moments. But
yeah.
There's a slight look of I promise I'll tell you later.
Yeah. And he nods like
you can look at the forums for that interaction. Woo! Moving on. Oh yeah, but I'm giving the Black Bean the biggest hug in the fucking world.
And then she's gonna give you a big old hug.
And we're totally not gonna cry a lot, and it's gonna be fine.
And last but not least, Delphine.
Yes, I have finished my dinner. Thank you for letting me eat.
Lyra will start. Or Liliana, rather. She's gonna come up and she will reach over and she places a hand on your shoulder, and she like cocks her head curiously to the side and smiles, and you know, Delphine, I dare say you've done a decent bit of growing since I first met you already.
Well, I have gotten taller.
So I see.
So, is that the kind of growing you mean, or have I started acting older?
A bit of both, though. Still have much and more to go in both manners, of course. But we're never done growing, truly.
Well, before you leave, I wanted to say thank you.
Whatever for.
Well, when I was feeling bad and I thought that things were my fault and I wanted to say who I was, but I wasn't sure if I should. You told me that my name was mine. And other than Elstro, that's the first time somebody's told me that. It was nice. And it didn't exactly end super well, but I mean, it ended in the best way it could have. And that's that I took my name. And if they don't believe me, then they don't believe me. That's all that matters, right?
Ultimately, it is. Yes.
So, thank you for that, and for tea times, and miss you.
I'm going to miss you too, Delphi. I'm sure the winds will bring us back together someday.
Well, of course, because I have to give you new recipes, and you're gonna have to tell me some new ones after you've been visiting in Fangrangu.
I'll do what I can, but I'm a dreadful cook. Doubly so without the use of my eyes. But
Just
I'm
tell
sure
me what they taste like.
I will, and I'm
We'll figure
certain
it
that
out.
Rosalind will be able to help where I cannot.
Mhm.
And Delphine is going to hug.
And she'll hug you as well. Be safe, Delphi.
I was gonna tell you that.
And she'll give you a kiss on the cheek as well.
Cheek kisses.
And she'll step away. And Rosalind is going to step up next. She was right, you know. My
What do
sister.
you mean?
Your name. It is the one thing that no one can take from you.
They can sure try.
They can, but they won't succeed. But they will try. And she places her hand on your shoulder, and she looks at you with a pretty serious face. They're going to try. They're going to try and take much from you, Delphi.
I know. They know I'm coming.
They do. And they know your name. You have to be ready for it.
Well, it doesn't matter what they want, because what they want is a Legala where we can't all live. And that's not what That's not what Alstro wants, and that's not what Connor wants, and that's not what I want.
And that's what matters. Don't let them take.
Mhm.
Instead, give. Give everything that you can. I trust that you will build a world that your mother and your father will be proud of.
Delphine nods quietly with a kind of sad smile.
Well, I also should thank you too, because even though I haven't really gotten to spend a whole lot of time with you, you you gave me Alstro and you gave me Piper, and
And,
they're two of the
and,
best sisters I could ever ask for.
and a slew of other problems. None of which were yours to contend with. And yet,
But the world had a lot of problems anyway.
yes, I suppose it did.
And if I got some really nice sisters out of it, then what's a couple more problems, right?
You're a kind woman, Delph.
Wait, I get to be called a woman now? Ooh,
You're certainly close enough.
Delphine beams. Like, yes, I am older.
Not to mention, I imagine by this point you've probably experienced the most thrilling part of womanhood.
oh yeah, I thought I was dying.
So did we all.
I'm not 14 yet. I haven't had a birthday yet.
You probably have. It's been over a year.
I think
What month is it?
She was. When is your birthday?
The equivalent of the Ides of March.
It's soon.
Yeah, it's probably gonna hit. It probably hit actually. Yeah,
Oh, fuck.
you probably are
Okay.
Yeah,
14.
the prologue or prologue of the campaign happened in 947.
Yeah, you guys are basically
Yeah,
gonna
we're at
be.
949 now.
You guys are basically making landfall on basically a year after you made landfall in Zodia. So you probably had another C birthday.
So it's probably, given when we made landfall, it's probably either just happened or coming up, and it'll be on the second half.
You guys got here in Kivara, which is. Hang on, I gotta look at this now because I'm curious.
I know Connor and I had our birthdays some time ago.
Yeah, we have respectively had one birthday each.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, no, you had your birthday.
Oh, fuck, I'm 14.
Yep. Yeah, you're 14 now.
Alright. Cool.
Well,
It was a pleasure to meet you.
it was really nice to meet you too. And I promise that I'll do everything I can to make sure that Alstro and Piper both are safe, okay?
I'm counting on you.
Mhm.
And she'll smile and she'll put a hand on your cheek and then she'll give you a hug.
And she'll hug back. And as she's pulling out of the hug, she'll say,
And I'm counting on you to keep Liliana and to keep Neely safe, okay?
I've been taking care of Liliana since she was younger than you are now. Don't you worry. She'll be safe. And Neely's a good girl. But I will. Promise. She'll smile and she'll step away. and Neely will come forth, and she'll give you a big old wing hug.
Ooh, I love wing hugs.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I got you grounded until forever.
No, it's okay. It's not forever. It's only 100 years.
That's like forever.
Oh, um, well, it's okay. Really, it is, and I don't regret it. Well, I regret not telling anybody about it, but I don't regret Ven coming because that means he could spend more time with his family.
Mhm.
So, so you have to make sure that you spend more time with your family too, okay? Because family is really important.
Well, I get to kind of pick who my family is, and in addition to my brother and my sister, uh, you know, I kind of get to pick, and I picked everybody. So
Make sure you
we'll
hold on to them tight, okay? I don't want you to lose your family either. Not anymore.
I
I
kind
think
of already am when you guys leaving.
she smiles and says, I promise I'll see you again, okay?
Delphine wipes a tear away from that's, forming and
Says, okay, and and you'll have to tell me about everything, and I'll tell you about everything, and
Mm-hmm. Oh
I'm
wow,
really gonna miss you.
you're probably gonna be really tall next time I see you.
You think?
I think so. Don't humans grow really fast?
I don't know. They said I've been growing, so maybe I'll do some more growing.
If I'm lucky, I might grow a little bit. She
Well,
says hopefully.
well, if you do, then we can maybe if we're both a little taller, we can do things that only tall people can do. Maybe we can reach some taller shelves. I don't know.
Sounds fun. She says, like giggling a little bit. It was really nice spending time with you, Delphine.
It was nice to spend time with you too.
And she'll give you another hug.
and she will return the hug and trying not to cry, she'll tell Neely,
I'm really glad we're friends.
Friends forever.
Mhm.
She'll smile as she backs up. She's tearing up a little bit. As she smiles.
the pained smile through crying. Let's
And-
go.
And Orion, of course, has in the background said goodbye to his mother. Tears abound, and others. Sylvia, of course, has shown up to say goodbye to Rosalind and to little Lily and everyone. Piper is, of course, she's here to see off her mother and her aunt. And as they bid farewell as well, many tears. Piper grabs both of the women and pulls them into a hug. Uh, one in each arm as she pretty much grossly sobs into them, and they laugh, cry a little bit about it. And interestingly enough, among the other people, of course, Nate is here to say goodbye, but probably the one person that you necessarily didn't expect to be here actually is Starling. Starling, she actually approaches Lyra, and the two of them share a couple of words. And Starling, she She shakes her hand, and you hear her say thank you. Quietly. And Starling actually, she turns on and she actually just leaves. She parts from the pier completely. And you see her wipe a tear away from her eye as she does. And of course, Sophia's here for emotional support as far as everything's concerned. And I imagine the let's see, of the Zodians, I imagine though she's not here, Misty did speak with her a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if Misty was here, and thus Cygnus would be here too. And Estrella probably. Or yeah, sorry, Estrella's not here. Never mind. Sorry, I was just like, oh yeah, the three of them. No, yeah, she's not there. Yeah, no, put her away. She should not be here. Sorry. I think. Yeah, I don't think Paris would necessarily be here. He may have already said goodbye to her in a quieter moment, but yeah, that's that. Out of the named Zodians, I imagine that's it. Though obviously, I imagine Penelope is here and says goodbye to Lyra as well. And Varro steps forward. You have everything you need. He says, looking down to Liliana and the others. And they nod. All right. Everything is sorted out with the captain. You should be all cleared for your travels. And we packed a couple extra things for you. Just some fresh clothes, some things to make the trip to be a bit smoother for you. And you don't get to be this old without getting a bit of a nest egg cracked into it a bit to get you ladies a little bit of a start. Once you get your feet back on the ground, maybe help rent an inn room while you're looking for somewhere more permanent or something. And Liliana bows. That's quite kind. Thank you. And she bows. I shan't forget your courtesy, Captain Varro. It was nothing. And with that, she'll Rosalind steps to her and she grabs Liliana's hand and she grabs Neely's hand and helps lead them up the gangplank as the other Fenrigese sailors have begun to get everything in order and begin to hoist the anchor as they make their way up. And you guys watch as they board the vessel with the rest of their belongings. As the ship unravels its sail, the three of them slowly begin to move. As the ship begins to move away, Neely, of course, runs with the movement of the ship to keep steady with the pier until she hits the back of the boat, and she waves to all of you. Rosalind and Lyra just sitting at the edge, just Rosalind watching and just smiling as you guys leave, and Lyra or Liliana leaning up against the edge of the ship, tears streaming down her face. And Neely shouts back, "I'll miss you all! Be safe!" As the ship pulls out of view. Sylvia sniffles, a tear falling down her face. Piper's bawling into your shoulder, Davian, gripping to your arm rather tightly. And Cecil, Orion comes up next to you and he grabs your hand and he holds onto it tightly. He's shaking a little bit.
Subtle as a sledgehammer. I think that initiation was all that it took before Cecil turns around and wraps them both in a hug, but she starts to cry.
And Orion joins. He was trying not to, but well.
Someday we'll stop crying like this.
I'm not convinced.
You're right.
And Varro, of course, consoles Delphine, as does Misty, I imagine. And you guys watch as the ship disappears over the horizon. It's short order between that and what happens next. Boarding your ships and preparing to set sail for Legala, heading towards your destiny. Within a short period of time. Also, real quick, Alstro and Jacob, where were you guys setting down?
Shit.
Where were you guys landing?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Because effectively, you guys can go wherever you want. And you will not be known because of a certain individual.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, all right. We know that the Blow of Legala, though we don't know that name yet, is based in Dalhurst. So probably
Yes.
the closest port to fucking Dalhurst.
Yeah. Like,
So-
probably Dalhurst is the best place to go.
Yeah, it's basically wherever we can make the cleanest fucking shot from where we drop anchor to getting to Allied territory.
And, like...
Which Brimrad is also still under control too. I didn't know if you guys wanted to go there first.
Is Dalhurst
It's-
actually? Wait a second. Is Dalhurst a port?
Dalhurst is it's kind of a region of a bunch of small towns, including some ports.
Okay. I mean, we could do Brimrad, but honestly, like, if our friends are,
Do you want to,
Trying-
discuss strategy and get back to that on, like, Monday or something?
That's completely fair. Namely, are you going to be in a port where Connor could meet you at the port? Or are you going to be in a port where Connor could not meet you at the port?
Hey, Warren, do you want to go to a port where Connor can potentially meet you at the port?
No.
I mean, personally, I'd say that's probably our best idea is to, be where allies are ASAP, and if Etney's hooked up with Connor.
How do you feel about that, Warren?
He's obviously against it.
Well, yeah, he's against it for personal reasons, which I get, but also
He would prefer to land somewhere nearby.
And it's not like we need to announce that where we're landing ahead of time. We can, but if we can land somewhere like
Yeah, you'd be able to land in like a
Dalhurst.
place not far away without anybody else knowing.
Yeah.
Because
Or just bite the bullet.
I mean, we can again, like, we don't really need. I mean, honestly, it might even work to our benefit if we don't announce our presence. But like, if they're based in Dalhurst, we should probably land near, like, in Dalhurst, so we can then like make a beeline for friendly territory.
yeah, which that you could do pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you pull that
so
out,
I guess the biggest question: are you announcing your presence beforehand or not?
I mean, I'm pretty okay announcing my presence, but you know. Might as well bite the bullet, but that's also just me.
I'm for biting the bullet.
Well,
So I guess it's
is there anyone other than Warren who's against us just like getting, some shit out of the way?
well, there's technically a fourth person with a vote.
Exactly. That's kind of who I'm polling here.
Well, I mean, he's not concerned.
He's probably gonna fucking like vanish into the goddamn ether as soon as we make port.
He'll be where he needs to be.
So he's gonna vanish into the fucking ether as soon as we make port.
Bye.
At least until he has something else that needs to be done. But yeah, so I mean, if that's good with you, Alstra, then that's fine with me.
Let's bite the fucking bullet.
Cool. Yeah, I guess then we have our answer. There's these bullets. They have amazing nutritional content.
Alstro, I need you to make a leadership check.
Okay.
It's gonna be against 4 difficulty.
Can I give her a boost die by helping? I do have
Absolutely not.
Oh, damn. Well,
Absolutely not.
Nope.
I was gonna try. I tried.
I think I have. Does command work for this?
Yeah.
Godspeed,
And
Loxley.
Yeah, no, this is very much an Alstro is going to have to convince him to do this.
Oh, this is for fucking for Warren. Okay.
Yeah.
No fucking skin in this
Are
fight.
you? I'm not surprised in the slightest.
okay, I'm going to
Yeah, no.
focus this.
No, the other dude is like
I was thinking this fight.
Raynard will be fine no matter what happens.
Reynard does as he pleases.
Yeah,
I thought
no.
This was for the crew. I didn't realize this was for Warren. Yeah, you're on
No, this is to convince him.
Good luck.
How did she do that?
So you just want me to just sail on in. And just like that. After what, 2 years?
I'm not going to make you do anything.
Yes, but we're only in one ship, aren't we?
You know, I do have a Pegasus. That said, it's incredibly difficult to hide a Pegasus, and so once you get past a certain point, it'll be more difficult to hide. I know how difficult it's going to be, but this might be one of those things that it's best to pull off the bandage all at once.
That's incredibly easy. Alstromaria, you... He kind of like turns away from you and kind of paces back and forth for a second.
Look, the only reason he's not killing me is because, well, you know why he's not killing me.
So what? Me just showing up with you is just gonna... What? Oh, you are singularly frustrating.
I've been told that before.
Fine. Fine.
I'm not going to force you to do anything you don't want to. I could also make you invisible and wait for everybody to clear out before you leave the ship. There are all alternatives, even if we are on the same boat. Heh.
You're the boss, after all. And it wouldn't do for me to let you go waltzing in without back.
And I mean, no matter what, he's always going to be more mad at me than he will be at you.
We'll see about that, actually.
Look, all you've done is really survive.
At what cost?
Her kind of expression fades a bit.
Esther, I said I would see this stupid thing through to the end with you. Ultimately, I'm stuck with you whether I like it or not. Because, well, if nothing else, I'm a man of my word, right? So, at least there's that.
And I suppose that makes you better than me. Probably at least in his eyes.
Well, we already knew that. Oh, don't remind me of that.
I can only imagine your reaction to that when you found out.
Was supposed to be easy, but no. Other people. Never mind. It's not important right now. If I talk about it, I'm just going to get more upset. Are you positive that I can't have just one drink before any of this happens? Just one?
I'm gonna do a discipline check.
Old man Jake doesn't have to.
You can have a drink when it's over.
You know what? Good enough. I might need it. Especially after, well. Gods, I don't know who I'm looking forward to less meeting again. My
also, has
sister.
he been taking the thing seriously? Like, sobering up?
You've caught him trying to sneak alcohol at least once near the beginning, but after he was caught, he didn't try again.
And, yeah, and also using magic to alleviate whatever pain might be caused by that. So, as much as I can. But
Fine.
thank you for taking this seriously, Warren.
Not that I have a lot of choice, but here we are. You're probably right anyways.
Is there anything you need from me?
I won't be surprised if I need to vent after all this. Maybe a shoulder to cry on. Maybe a punching bag. Who knows, really?
All three options are available to you.
Nostro, rather afraid of what this is going to do.
I know. But if we're going to win this war, we're all going to have to stand together. Facing Millicent isn't going to be easy.
I suppose not. Shit.
All right. I'll tell the crew we're making way for Dalhurst.
All speed ahead. And you make your way to Dalhurst.
Making my way downtown, watching.
And not but maybe a week or two before the great fleet of Zodia arrives. Your singular ship pulls in to one of the smaller fleets of one of the smaller places in Dalhurst. The date is Artis 2nd. Exactly 1 year since the day that you, Alstromeria, set foot on Zodia. And that is where we will leave off for the evening.